Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show that was in the front running to play Batman in the next movie until we got beat by Ben Affleck. It's the Fray. My name's Derry Husky. Tonight, we're going to be talking to BROKENTIER's CEO, the madman behind the website, Paul Kugler, is going to join myself and Magus1234, and we're going to talk to him and give him the chance to reveal to you guys his choice for the next addition to Team BROKENTIER. Team BROKENTIER is a little bit in flux right now, what with some of the departures this year, and I think, I don't even know when they left, like last year, this year, but some high-profile departures. Nobody's been added to fill those voids until tonight. I have him on the line right now. Hello, Paul. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was really excited when I heard that you had added a new player to your roster, and I was really excited that you wanted to come on our show and reveal that person tonight. So I'm not going to drag it out. Why don't you just go ahead and give us a little bit of a breakdown on what you've got in the pipeline, who you've got lined up, and why you chose that person.
Sure. So before I announce who it is, like the big thing for me is that since Kevin and Yipes left the team officially as like team members, I mean, I still work with Yipes and I still technically sponsor him. I really took a break from the team. I decided to retool it a little bit and focus on other aspects of the business and kind of, I don't know, just kind of ride it out for a little while and look for talent and just take my time. I was not much of a rush to get someone else to replace them. So after a while, I got kind of depressed about it, but point being is that I've recovered from it, and after Evo, this player, he's just been beating people left and right, and I'm like, it's kind of sparked my interest in getting the team back in order and focusing on it and building it back up. And he's been a huge part of getting me motivated, he's always giving me help with the business, and so without further ado, it's Angelic from Arizona, Mr. 3-0 from got third place at Evo this year. He won the Rising Star Award for the Cannons, and I definitely feel like he's deserved everything that he's earned recently.
Right on. And I understand that we have Angelic in the building. Angelic and Kugi are actually in the same spot right now, so
yeah.
Any final thoughts before we pass you over to Angelic and start to talk to Angelic tonight?
The big thing is that I'm just proud of him. I've known Angelic since I moved to Phoenix about 2 years ago, and I bopped him at the first time I played, and I'll never let him live it down. But since then, he's a new player to the scene. He's just started playing around the time Super came out, and since then he's just propelled himself to the top. And I think that it's a great story of what you can do if you work hard in this community, and it's like fresh blood to our team, and I have a lot of players that are already well known, and so now it's time to kind of bring someone that's fresh and see how he does, So I'm going to pass the mic over to him, and you guys have fun, okay?
Thank you, Kugi. That leads me into our proper introductions for the night. Tonight's panel, myself, joining me, my longtime broadcast partner. You can follow him on Twitter at twitter.com/Magus1334. How you doing, Magus?
Hanging in there, buddy. What's going on, man?
What's going on? And then our last but not least, joining us right now, taking over for Kugi. You can follow this guy on twitter.com/AZAngelic, represent the AZ. The newest member of Team BROKENTIER, it's Angelic. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good. All right, so Paul mentioned it right off the bat. Third place Evo this year, now signing on to BROKENTIER. How you feeling right now, man?
I feel I feel great, honestly. I feel amazing. Everyone starts out playing fighting games. We all have dreams, and while winning Evo is one of mine, and I'll still work hard for it, another one was definitely to represent BROKENTIER. BROKENTIER has always had a special place. For me, I've really looked up to them. I like what they do for the community, and to me, it wasn't like I wanted a sponsor. It was I wanted the sponsor in my eyes. So for me, this is practically a dream come true. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to all the amazing things I can do with them.
I think I have to agree. Magus, would you agree? Broken Tier is kind of the sponsor, especially
Oh,
for
yeah.
Marvel players.
Definitely. I mean, if I was still competitive, that's what I would want. You know, either Mad Cats or Broken Tier are really like the only sponsors that are like really rooted in the fighting game community, and I think everybody just respects them. They respect the CEOs and the you know, and Markman and everybody behind the companies. And I think Angelic, congratulations by the way. I think he's an awesome addition. I really like the idea of getting somebody who's you know, newer to you know, really on the scene and doing well. So I'm really glad. I think it's a great decision.
Angelica, you were a lot of people's pick to win Evo altogether. I know that Hanzo Gonzo on this show said point blank he thought you were going to win. You got third place, which is, I mean, obviously that's a huge accomplishment. But with this, you know, coming off a third place finish, and then having a momentum, the wind at your back with, you know, now when you signed on with Broken Tier, what are you moving? What do you have any plans moving forward in the future? Are you like maybe adjusting your team a little bit, or looking at maybe training a little bit differently? Are you making any sort of adjustments, springboarding off of this sponsorship deal to kind of take it from third place to first place in 2000 and the rest of 2013, moving into 14?
Well, I've always practiced really hard. I mean, I'm definitely the guy who, you know, plays way more. You know, I may not be the smartest player, but I will definitely work extremely hard. And going into Evo 2013, I was playing a ridiculous amount. You know, shout outs to my buddy King Blue River. He randomly was in Arizona. He played with me a ridiculous amount. You know, I just kept practicing. Now after Evo, you know, I got a decent placing, third place. You know, obviously I didn't win, but you know, I'm very happy with what I did. I look forward to just playing more. Honestly, you know, I play hard. You know, it's literally just a phrase I want to repeat over and over again. I feel like just playing hard and just keeping on will be the key here. I don't think I'll be switching my team. I think if anything, I'll be adding more teams to my repertoire. I'm looking specifically right now at Firebrand Dormammu Shuma. That's always been a pet project, and I have a lot of people helping me out with it. You know, namely like Zach Bennett and Apology Man. But I think I'll be adding that team to my repertoire. But I will never drop Wolverine Dormammu Shuma. I feel like that is the most optimal team for the characters I like. You know, Dormammu
That's a
Shuma.
really good team.
Yeah, Dormammu Shuma are my favorite characters in this game. Like, I like them. I like the comics. I like how they look. The moves are cool. You know, and honestly, you know, I don't want to switch them out for a quote unquote better character. When in reality, I think they're really good. So.
That's cool. You know, I'm really excited to see you finally to be able to travel to a lot of tournaments. Hopefully, you know, like that happens in the future. And I gotta ask you, who are you worried about now that you're gonna get like more opportunities to fight a lot of these killers that are gonna be at majors all the time?
Honestly, I'm honestly not worried about anyone really. I feel if I am on my game, I can beat the best.
What about Chris G? You think your Wolverine can handle that team?
I think so. Yeah.
What do you think about that guy?
I think Chris G is an incredibly smart player, and I think anyone who says otherwise is really misinformed. I played him at final round was when I played Chris G. It's the only time I've really played him. He completely, let's be blunt, like, he wiped the floor with Team SoCal. He 10-0'd us in grand finals.
And,
you know,
and
that was
did that in NorCal too, right? I believe.
right. Well, right. So that is just amazing. That nobody can ever take away anything from that. You know, but you know, I remember telling everyone, "Hey, Chris G's in my pool." Everyone would just tell me, "Oh, good luck in losers," you know. But I wasn't really okay with taking that. I don't believe in giving up. So you know, of course, I had a miraculous let against him, and I managed to beat him 3-0. It was a really big deal. I was really excited, and honestly, that was one of those things that you put in your back pocket forever. You know, I will never lose confidence in myself, and I will never believe that I can't beat anyone. So who am I worried about? I don't really think anyone, but of course, there's really strong players out there. So I'm not necessarily going to go and say, oh, I'm going to beat up everyone for free. You know, that's not true. The fact is that if I work hard enough and I play smart enough, I think I can beat anyone, you know.
So you don't think that was just, you know, Chris was saying, you know, he just showed up and it's Wolverine and blah, blah, blah. You think if you run into him again, like, you're pretty confident?
I'm pretty confident that I'll just focus on my game, you know, and I'll do my best to beat him again. And honestly, I mean, if there's one thing I want everyone to understand is that maybe I mean what he says has some truth to it, but honestly, and I don't mean to be rude, but it's really like I feel like that's not my problem that he didn't warm up, you know.
Word.
I play Wolverine, easy execution character. I still grind out all my combos, you know. It's just a decision that he made, you know. But yeah, I mean, and also I had an awesome Shuma comeback, so I don't want to get that taken away. That was cool.
Well,
Yeah.
first,
Anyways,
let me say that I just want to take a moment to make a personal note that I respect a dude who plays characters in Marvel that he thinks are cool. Like, I think all those guys out there rocking their Virgil squads, like, I respect a dude who plays a character that he thinks is cool.
oh yeah.
I want to direct this question to Magus, though. I know that you probably agree with me. I want to get your thoughts, though. Angelic's here talking about doing work, and we see dividends paying off of fucking work. A lot of the Marvel community in some areas have gotten lazy, and we're seeing it, and they're kind of falling off a little bit. You got a guy like Angelic, who he talks about how he's only been playing fighting games since about Super era, so that's like 2010.
That's crazy.
You know, and now he's top 3 Evo. How do you feel how do you feel personally when you hear a guy say, I ask a guy, how do you do it? And the guy just says, just point blank, I just work. How does that make you feel to hear that?
Yeah, I mean that's there's no shortcut to it, right? Like that's what you got to do, and you know he doesn't even live in an area where he gets like top players, quote unquote. So it's pretty cool that he did it the old-fashioned way. You just work, you just play. That's what you do, and if you want to win something, you put in the work. You figure out matchups. You go into training, and you do whatever. Too many people in Marvel, they're like, well, I got 100% combo. Now all I need to do is land it, and I could win. And then they get kind of complacent over the months, and they get randomed out at Evo, and it shows. And it shows to a lot. It happens to a lot of players. But I mean, a lot of players are getting lazy. But I think still the best players. I watch Champ, Wong, the East Coast guys, those guys are still grinding, and you just have to put in that extra effort. You have to have that X factor, and Angelic has a really cool team. It's unique, and he's always going to have that kind of surprise element where nobody really has a lot of Shuma practice. So it'll be interesting.
Speaking of Shuma, Angelic, what characters do you think that as you start to become more prolific, I feel like we might start to see more Shumas in general. If we start to see more Shumas, what characters do you feel do really well against what Shuma brings to the board? What counter characters are out there that you might see more people playing just to fight Shuma?
I feel like Shuma has a lot of options. Okay, when we're talking about Shuma, most likely he's not going to be point because of his amazing top 5 assists. In terms of shutting down the assist, you pretty much can use any beam that's faster than it to just shut it down. It's a very slow assist. Directly, I would say Disruptor. You can counter call reaction Disruptor on Shuma assist every time. In terms of playing against him on point, Shuma's a really good character that unfortunately lacks a lot of mobility. So again, Magneto is probably the toughest matchup. You can literally just repulsion him forever, magnetic blast, shockwave, and then if I finally get close, you can magnetic shockwave. I think the super is called. It just puts him full screen. Besides that, it's really not who in terms of like the characters that counter him. It's just people who are confident in the matchup. Anyone who's willing to press buttons against the Shuma ball will probably give me problems. Because he kind of has to play as a footsie character once you take away the Shuma ball with his crouch medium. So I feel like there's no direct counters besides Magneto, maybe Virgil. Hawkeye is a pretty good one. It's just kind of people who are willing to understand and play the matchup. A lot of people just don't respect Shuma enough to try to play a matchup, and that's actually how the comebacks happen.
Yeah, and it's tricky. I've played point Shumas too, and if you're not used to his mix-up game, it's pretty frustrating because he does have a pretty quick overhead, so he's pretty tricky. But so Angelic, you're going to be traveling a lot and stuff like that. What do you think of the East? What do you think of the East Coast? You think they're good?
I think
East
the
Coast
East Coast
players are good?
is extremely talented.
You think they're better than West Coast, like overall?
Um,
Don't give me some washed up answer. Like,
no, no, no.
tell me what you really think.
I'll
You
give you
think West
straight. I'll
Coast or
give you
East Coast
straight.
Marvel's
I
better?
think the West Coast is better.
You think West Coast better, like
I
overall?
feel like the East Coast. I used to respect the East Coast a lot, especially when I first went over there for NEC. It really opened my eyes to the kind of hunger they had. Recently, I don't really see that hunger as much anymore. I feel like West Coast is continuing on with their practice, but East Coast has lost their like the sparkle. You know, they have a lot of really, really good players that for some reason I have not been hearing a lot of from recently. You know, so that's the answer I'm gonna give it to you. Right now, I like West Coast for sure.
Yeah. I think West Coast is still pretty active, and there's still,
Yeah.
even in our locals here in NorCal, like a lot of the players are still pretty hungry and are really good. So
Yeah, yeah,
Well, coming from an area that, Magus mentioned you come from an area where there's not a lot of quote unquote top players. We talk a lot about East Coast versus West Coast. But are there any other players from AZ? I can think of a few off the top of my head, but I want to hear from your mouth. Player that we should be, on keep on our minds, be on the lookout for guys coming up in the AZ.
you always have to give it to Forward. Forward's also from AZ. He's definitely my training buddy. Me and him have been to a few majors, and we kind of hold it down for Arizona. He's undoubtedly one of the smartest players I've had I've had the opportunity to play against. You know, quite literally playing against him sometimes feels absolutely ridiculous, and I have no doubt that if it wasn't for some of our training sessions, that I wouldn't be as good as I am now.
Did you guys have to play each other at SCR?
No, I played one of my other friends.
Oh, that's right.
Spiteful, and he's
Right.
He unfortunately he kind of retired after SCR, so he hasn't really been playing much.
dang, you put him in a retirement, huh?
Oh no! He beat me. He beat me at SCR.
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Yeah, he was the one who put me in losers, and then I went all the way back up to top 8 after that.
So it's hard, and Angelic, this is something that has been a consistent issue with fighting games since the dawn of console fighting games, and it's kind of the guy in the middle of nowhere asking, how do I get good when I don't have, tons of competition around me? Do you have any, can you shed some light on that? Like,
Yeah.
that question to people out there who are in a similar situation, even though you're not really, like, Arizona's got amazing talent, but, there is that kind of aspect where you can't just, like, oh, here's Filipino champ and 5 other top players in one room all grinding,
Right. I've honestly, even though Arizona has a really, really strong scene now, back when I first started really going at the game, I think the main reason was actually that it was that me, Forward, and Spiteful were just grinding it out so hard. Like I used to, vanilla. I used to win most of the tournaments in vanilla, kind of doing whatever I wanted. And then once Devastation 2011 happened and F-Champ came by and everyone just came by just for like a few days, it kind of opened my eyes to how the game should be played. And after that, it literally was just me and 2 friends playing all day long. So to the people who say they don't have a full scene, I strongly believe that as long as you have one person who's willing to practice with you and adapt, that's the key thing. You guys have to adapt to each other. I think it's
Right.
possible to be.
You got to tell them,
player.
right? Like, if they're doing
Right.
something stupid over and over
Exactly.
again, you got to be like, hey, you got to, wake up. We got to be smart here.
Exactly. A lot of people are so content. You're like, oh, I have this cool mix-up that's totally hitting this guy every time, and now I'm the best between me and him. Right. That doesn't help anyone. What helps is if you have this cool mix-up, you hit him once, you explain the mix-up, and then have him block it from then on out. Because if this is how I always look at it. If I explain all of my tactics to you, and then I still beat you, it was because I was the better player, and that to me is more important. I don't want to rely on gimmicks. I don't want to rely on things you've never seen before. I want to make sure you understand perfectly what I'm doing to you, and then have me do it to you, and then you not be able to do anything about it because
I
of
100%
the
agree. Yeah, that's a good look. Who do you think should be taken out of Marvel? What character?
I don't want anybody taken out. I mean, obviously, I want them adjusted. But if someone was like, no matter what, someone has to go.
Yeah, you got the magic wand, and you could be like, here's my magic, nerf or buff or whatever. Like, what would be the first thing?
I guess Morgan. I don't know.
Morgan?
Yeah, Morgan. I actually really like the character, but I don't like how she's like supposed to be played. But a Morgan, because everyone else kind of follows a overall hierarchy of like touch the first character, mix up, and then death.
Yeah.
But she kind of ignores that with her zoning.
You like the Morgan character?
Yeah, my
She the hottest.
first
She the hottest character in Marvel to you?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. I
Uh,
respect that. I hate Morgan. I can't. I'm so sick of seeing her.
I
she
like
wouldn't be. She wouldn't be the first character I know, but I respect that answer.
yeah.
Do you feel like Morgan would be a little bit more in line if they fixed Shell Kick or maybe nerfed it a little bit?
I mean that would be a good start. I honestly don't have a problem with shell kick. I think one of the biggest problems for me, like that I run into, is how how low she gets when she does crouch light. The light is so fast, and then it's impossible to overhead her, and it just anti-airs a lot of weird situations. There's literally like tons of mix-ups that I see all the time that won't work on a crouching Morgan that just spams crouch light.
Yeah,
But
her crouch hitbox it's insane. It's smaller than Rocket Raccoon's, especially when she hits like crouch forward or crouch jab.
Or crouch light would be a good answer, or maybe reduce durability of the fireball. That would
Yeah.
probably be really good because then you
That would
still
probably be the
maintain the
best.
game, but it isn't ridiculous. Like it doesn't require an insane amount of projectile points from your end to try to counter the projectiles that are coming to you.
Shell kick is
Earlier-
pretty ridiculous though.
Earlier in the show, you talked about Magneto and how he's particularly adept at countering what you do with Shuma as a character. But I have to imagine that you had to fight your way through a sea of Magnetos to get the top 3 at Evo, considering he's probably the second most popular character in the game behind Doctor Doom. What character do you struggle with personally, though? Because it seems like you don't have too much of a problem with Magnetos. But is there a character that you do have a problem with, that you just, when you fight that character, you're just like... Because, for example, in Street Fighter, when I fight a Guile, the match is done already before I sit down. I don't
When you
like
play
it.
Bison,
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I can play another character. I don't like Guile.
oh, okay, I get you.
But
Just play Bison though.
right. But for you personally, when you play against, is there any character that you play against? You're just like, I'm done.
If I had to, it used to be worse. Now it's not so bad, but I have a lot of problems against Hagar. Because I swear that like everyone just spins and then I get hit and then Shima Ray doesn't do anything because it hits him, but then he gets a full combo anyways.
Well, shout outs to Kane for all that practice, right?
Yo, before Kane came to my house, I was so terrified of all Haggers.
Yeah. I
And then
was
now
too
I'm really confident, Oh my goodness. He gave
was
me
like-
so much help there.
It was like when Tong came to what is it, FGTV. I was like, oh god, I'm gonna get embarrassed for like 30 rounds till I find out what's going on. And that's basically what happened. What do you think about all the people that clown on Kane and say he doesn't know how to play? He just kind of like he just plays. Other people are losing to them. That stupid like kind of saying like I lost to myself, like he didn't. And so many
Honestly,
players say that about Kane.
I used to look at Kane and I used to talk to my friends and we would all have the same question. How does Kane Blue River win? It doesn't make sense. His team is bad. He has no neutral game. And honestly, like, it's Hulk. Like, Hulk is not top tier, right?
No,
but
not at all.
playing him, I understand how actually brilliant his team is. And I say this kind of lightly, but his team is actually kind of brilliant. And I say that because basically what it feels like to play his team is that team immediately forces you into a series of gambles. And all gambles are in his favor. And the first gamble is probably like stand H with Hulk, and then whether he's going to Gamma Charge or not. That's one of the gambles. Another gamble is like Hagar. Hagar is probably the best example. All right, you go to him. What are the chances he's going to spin? If he spins, he kills your character. If he doesn't spin, he can potentially mind game me into not going in. So that's in his favor for sure. Let's assume that I gamble that he's going to spin, and I dash in, and then I block it, right? Now he has another gamble. Is he going to super? Or is he not going to super? So the same gamble. If he supers, I die. If he doesn't super, then there's a chance that he's mind gaming me into not punishing him for things. All right.
Yeah, I feel bad for any character that doesn't have mobility versus that team. It's really frustrating.
Exactly. And then there's a third layer with the X Factor. Literally, the X Factor. He has yet a third gamble. It's a series of gambles that are all in his favor, and you just the chances of you going through all of them are very slim. So
And he's
very-
a psychologist too, the way he plays.
Oh yes.
So he's
Very-
very
very
good at reading what kind of player you are in the opening like 3 or 4 seconds of the match. So
No,
it's
that
pretty
that
cool.
team is very hard to win with, but he makes it work, and I actually think it's a very good team. I've started playing it a little bit as like a side joke, but it's a very fun, very effective team.
Yeah. Is
If you could,
Marvel 3 sorry, Jerry, Marvel 3 your favorite fighting game?
Oh yeah, I would say so.
Have you played old games? I know you started around Super, but did you ever like, just mess around with other like fighting games?
Yeah. Like I started getting serious with Super, but I actually played most of the versus games. But when I say played, I mean like I rented them or I owned them, and I only played with myself like in arcade mode. Like I couldn't really do fireballs.
That's
I
cool.
didn't know
Yeah.
what a charge motion was. Like it wasn't literally until vanilla where I could start doing fireballs consistently, and then
Wow.
Super came out, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah, that's wild.
man,
I think I
pack
was
it
doing
up.
fireballs at 8 years old.
Yeah, I was about to say, pack it up, dude.
Yeah.
yeah. No, dude, I didn't know because see, I messed
It's all
up. I messed up, yo. Because I thought it was down, down, forward, forward, like in a series, like
Good thing
like
you didn't get that tattooed. Yeah.
like I didn't think it was one solid motion. I thought it was down, wait, down, forward, wait, forward, and then punch, and it never came out.
If it was Tekken, it might be like that. Tekken has all
Yeah.
those weird.
That's right, huh? You gotta put that neutral in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was bad, man. I love all fighting games though. Like,
Well, that's cool because Street Fighter 4 did what it had to do. It opens people up into the game, and I feel like
Mhm.
that's what Street Fighter 4 did with a lot of players that wouldn't even exist and be playing competitively if they didn't jump into a game like so. All these people that hate on it, and it's like, well, before Street Fighter 4, we were playing these extremely complex, tough games that gave nothing to people who are just starting on it, and finally a game that comes out kind of broadens the scope of it, and a lot of players like you got into it, which is awesome.
yeah.
If you could tweak King Blue River's team, just like to mix it up and make it. Do you think it could be improved on in some way or make it better in some way? What would you do to it?
I would replace Sentinel with Shuma. Easy.
Oh
Really?
wow.
Yeah. It actually me and him worked on that team while he was there. It actually works really well. He gets a lot of good options, and then he actually has a neutral game. Yeah.
Does that help? Does that help Hulk's neutral game though? It seems more like I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not mobile enough. Like if it hits like full screen to like really get over there. Like Wolverine can kind of wave dash twice, super jump, like H, cancel into whatever that move is in a dive kick, and then he's got to convert. But like Hulk, like how's he gonna get like mid to far screen off a
Well,
hit?
it's used a little bit differently. I hate to use this word, but it's the easiest way to explain it. The gimmick with the assist is that you can actually do a gamma, like a shoulder charge, and call Shuma, and then if it hits, like you get a combo. If it doesn't hit, you're safe. So free gamma charges with Hulk is really strong.
That's kind of like yeah. All right, I get you.
And then like you get a full combo because of the Ray off a command grab, and then hit OTGs for you in certain situations. Like combo corner.
Yeah.
It offers a lot. It offers everything that Sentinel does, except combo off an air throw. That's kind of hard.
Yeah, that's true. You can't. I mean, only those like strictly OTG assists really allow him to do that, though.
Right.
So we all have our favorite players. In Marvel, I tend to kind of like the quiet execution monster type guys like Dick Wynn or Shady K. Do you have some favorite players out there? Maybe not guys who necessarily are always winning, but just like guys that when they play, you're like, yeah, I'll watch this guy play right now.
Honestly, I had a few favorite players. I loved watching PR Balrog. He's kind of like who I molded my Wolverine after, like when I first started learning Wolverine. So I watched a lot of him, and I still love watching him because of his ruthless aggression. Like Rog is just insane sometimes.
Yeah, he is crazy.
Right.
He's
but,
just so good. Yeah.
In terms of like watching a player like do all their matches, I haven't usually that didn't really happen to me. But then it's now recently I have been getting into actually. It's kind of embarrassing because it's in the same room, but I like watching Clockwork's Strider on Point. It's probably the most entertaining Marvel I've seen in a very long time, and it is just so hyped to watch Strider on Point with Doomrocks. I'm so excited for that team to take off, and I hope he keeps playing it.
Really? Do you want him to lose?
Hey man, I'm all about playing what you like,
No, I respect that. Who's your favorite Japanese player?
Probably Abigail. Yeah.
Sick.
I think it's like everybody's favorite Japanese player.
Well, I'm pretty biased because
Well, it's
I mean,
him or Nemo.
I think Nemo's like potentially one of the best, like one of the top 3 players in the world, man. Like, I mean, he's crazy.
Well, every time
Did you ever get a chance to play Nemo?
No, I tried to at Evo, and the guy was sleeping every time I went to look for him.
Oh, he's powering up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Apparently, yo, he slept, and then I didn't get to play him, and then he played Champ and Chris, and then that happened. So I'm kind of glad I didn't play him. Maybe I would have lost some money.
He was on point. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Um, do you feel like there's anybody out there that's maybe a little overrated, or maybe like this guy consistently gets, maybe except for Cable River, obviously, but a guy who's like you don't really understand how this guy gets where he gets, but it's like wow, every time you turn around, he's there.
Honestly, I have that thought sometimes, but I discourage anybody thinking like that because the fact is that if someone got a high placing, then they probably beat quite a number of people to get there. So I never want to discredit anyone.
That's a
Wow,
good answer. He's already sponsored.
Yeah, dude, that's a blow up question, and you dodged it perfectly. That's nice. Good for you.
Well, no, really, I really like every time, like I'm and every time I hear people talking bad about somebody else, I'm like, you know what, he like probably all right. Probably the biggest person that I'm gonna talk about that I don't that I give, I feel like people don't give him enough respect sometimes for his win. It's probably I guess Dios X. Okay, this character.
Yeah.
I personally don't like how he plays. It's kind of boring for me to watch. It's effective, but it's boring. And a lot of people are like, I can't believe he's won. I can't believe he won Curly West. I can't believe he won this. You know what? He won because he worked hard and he beat a lot of people for it. So I will never discredit him for that, and I believe he deserved it. You know, let me phrase that. I don't think he deserves it. I think he earned it by beating the right people. You know, so anytime anybody says, I can't believe so and so got top 3, and they shouldn't be there to disgrace the game. I think that's just a wrong mentality to have.
Well, if Justin Wong played that team and played exactly the same way, people would be like, Justin is just, look at his spacing. He's just so godlike,
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things. He's not in the in crowd, and he doesn't have a lot of E-fame. And so whatever, it could be anything, and that's just how life works. So a lot of this shit is a popularity contest between a bunch of dorks. So it's whatever. But he's a workman. He reminds me a lot of you too, in the way that he plays. It just gets in there and he makes you think, and he opens you up and turns you out. So I really enjoy watching him. I was hype. I want to kill a Kai to win, but Dios X he's a great champion. I thought that was sick.
Yeah.
Any players that you haven't run into in a major tournament yet that you would like to kind of like run into in the top 8 or kind of test yourself against in a high pressure setting like that?
I've never ran into some of the East Coast that I would love to play. I've never played Moons in tournament. I played them in casuals, but I mean it's casuals. Same for Fray. They're two obviously more like of the new blood from the East Coast that I really like how they play, and I would love to play them in tournament just to see what happens. Similarly, I would like to play B. I had the pleasure of playing maybe like 30 matches at Evo, and it was one of the best sets I've ever played. This man, he's one of those people that if I literally, like, I feel like I'm on the edge of a cliff, and if my feet even move the wrong way, like I'm just gonna fall. Like this guy, any random hit, any wrong decision, instantly will just destroy your entire team for it. And I loved playing him for that.
Why doesn't he win more? I agree too. Why
I don't know. I don't
understand.
Really
Every time I watch him play when he's in his element, I'm like, this is one of the best players I've ever seen in the world. And then he just doesn't perform.
That's exactly it. If you ever ask me who I think should be winning more, B, there you go. That's my answer. B. This man should be winning a lot more. He's so smart, so good.
That's a good answer.
So a lot of people, if you had asked them before, who's the best player that's not sponsored by a major sponsor right now, some of them would probably say you. Now that you're on BROKENTIER, who do you feel is the player right now out there who doesn't have a major sponsorship who probably deserves one?
Well, all those MH guys just left.
Yeah, we're wondering about that. We don't know what's up with that, but I mean,
I don't know. Well, you know what, MH. Well, I don't want to step on any toe. I don't really know anything, so take it for what it's worth. But I don't think they necessarily gave them money to travel and stuff like that. And if they did, well, I'm sorry. But
it's like
so it's just one of those
player?
things, right? Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's a development group, but it's just one of those things. Like they're just like, let's come, in a group and get better, and maybe they do help. I'm sure they do help them in some sense, but whatever. Hopefully they get sponsored. I'd love to see them get sponsored.
I guess if I had to say a name of somebody who I believe should be sponsored, but isn't sponsored currently, is I guess Apology Man Beneath. I think he's a really smart player, and I get this feeling that he's gonna do good stuff in the future. And he's only gonna get better.
Whether in Marvel or anything, I feel like every game he
Exactly.
touches, he gets so good at.
Yeah,
He just has that. He plays like Japanese approach to the game, where they break everything down into like mini scenarios. Whereas like the American style has always been kind of free flowing, you just adapt to situations on the fly. Whereas he really likes to break down the game into the elements and kind of take them from there, which is a really cool approach.
Angelic, is there any Street Fighter 4 player that you would like to see kind of make the jump into Marvel?
I would like to see. I mean, I guess the biggest mystery is I would like to see Infiltration try to seriously get as much success in Marvel as he did AE. But they released some videos of him playing, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Or maybe not now, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, he had a suck at Street Fighter 4 at one point too, right?
Yeah, that's true though. That's true. If I had to say a Street Fighter, a person who is mainly known as Street Fighter play Marvel seriously and try to be good at it, I'm gonna say Mike Ross. I want him to be a serious Marvel player.
The game would have to drastically change in order for him to play it, I think.
Yeah.
Though that
Mike,
win he
come on.
at in Florida was hilarious in the cage match.
Yo, when he rattled the cage, oh
much.
man.
That was like the perfect Mike Ross moment. Like, that was the first that happened.
Are you gonna play Street Fighter 4 ever? Do you play it? You still play it?
Yeah. I mean, it was the game I started with.
That's right. Yeah.
So I definitely played it. I'm gonna play it assuming. Okay, here's the deal though. I play Seth, and all the changes I've read have been terrible. So.
Yeah, I don't like you. You play Seth and Wolverine. You're my favorite player. I would be dodging you in sessions.
Yeah, honestly, the player like that inspired me to really start getting into fighting games was actually Punko.
Wow.
I watched his videos. Like I was still kind of like a casual scrub, and I watched his videos, and I was just so inspired by his aggression in a fighting game that I actually immediately dropped all of my characters and started playing Seth.
It's really difficult to play aggression in Street Fighter games like that. I mean, you have to be pretty good in order to sustain that kind of pressure.
Oh yeah. But I'm like the guy who will DP like 4 times in a row if I think it's gonna hit you.
Oh no.
Yeah, I take a lot of risks in that game, but honestly, it's alright. I play the game for fun now, and I'll definitely try to play competitively again if Ultra's good. But yeah.
I mean, Koogie's in the same room as you. You play Guilty Gear at all?
I like Guilty Gear and I know how to play it, but I haven't taken it seriously. But I think Koogie's gonna teach me Guilty Gear as soon as he has some time.
Don't play Saul. Don't play Saul or Kai.
No. I have my character. I'm gonna play.
Hold on. What's wrong with Kai?
This is nothing about Kai. We played back in the day.
Man?
Remember that Evo?
I've heard enough.
There was an Evo I went to, and it was I think I played 4 Kais to get out of my pool. I was like, what the hell? That was America's character. It's just I never got that out of my system. I just hate Kai ever since that.
You should be afraid. He was
You
good.
still gonna play? You still play Kai?
Of course I'm gonna play Kai, but this isn't about me. This is about Angelic. Who are you gonna play, Angelic?
Get out of here! What are you doing?
Kugi went through like a lot of the cast with me, kind of explaining what I explained to him what I like in a character, and he kind of showed me. And I've definitely settled on trying to pick up Dizzy. I think.
Dizzy. I was gonna say Dizzy or Amelia or something like that. Yeah.
Actually, it was between Milia or Dizzy.
Right.
Dude,
yeah.
just play Slayer. Just play Slayer.
No, he's too slow.
No. I play the characters I like. I originally liked Jam, but not so much anymore. Actually, the new changes to her and Plus R kind of made her weird. I really like how Dizzy looks and plays, and I think she's pretty cool too. So
Yeah, she is.
that's
cool.
probably what I'm gonna do.
That's a good character, and she got really good. So
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, Nerd Jaws is sitting here telling me she's amazing. Apparently, so that's a good future for me too.
Oh yeah, that'll be a fun game.
All right, so moving into 2013, 2014, how do you feel, Angelic, about the state of Marvel right now, the overall meta game there? Like, do you feel like the game's starting to come into its like MSS stage where the game's kind of fully formed? Do you feel like there's more to develop here, like there's tech out there that maybe we haven't found yet? Or do you feel like, this is kind of shaping up to be the final form of Marvel 3?
Well, I mean, I definitely like to state my lack of experience in seeing, like, I've never played a game and then seen it die and then played another game. That's something I've never done before. So I feel like I'm not the best gauge at seeing where the game's life is, but I do feel like the game is not anywhere close to its end. I feel like there's a lot of technology with a lot of characters, and I don't want to say the term unexplored because I feel like there's a lot of people working very hard out there with all their characters, trying to find the tech. I feel like just enough time hasn't passed yet, you know. If anything, I think the tiers are still changing, especially after this year's Evo. I feel personally like I have a very different view of how the game should be played as opposed to a lot of people. So I look forward to seeing how the game evolves, but I definitely don't think it's anywhere near the end of its life cycle. I think this game still has a few more years to go, and honestly, I look forward to it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. When you're talking about a game coming and going, is if you like a game, fucking play it. Don't worry about how many other, hundreds of people are playing it. That's too many people get caught up in that nowadays, and they're like, oh, back it up. This game only has 20 entrants at the this doesn't matter if I was playing locals when it was 8-mans every week.
I was about to say, man.
If you enjoy the game, just play it and get good at it, and then you'll always have an opportunity to show off how good you are and really test yourself as people, and that's all that matters. Just live in the now. Don't worry about what's going to happen and what people are doing.
Tekken players playing 8-mans now.
If they get 8-man, yeah, exactly right, and that's it. They love the game, and I respect that. As much as we make fun of it, it's just like that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
So, Angelic, of the other members of Team Broken Tier, which of those players are you the most excited to get a chance to work with and session with and grind with now?
Honestly, all of them. I've played with all of them before in just private set, casual set, tournament set, and I feel like they're just all so good that I have so much to learn from all of them. I definitely don't think I could just name one. They're all really good. Like I have, Marlon Pie is just so quick with the punishes sometimes, and his mix-ups are so insane. I learned so much, and then you have somebody like Vasant, who is just such an intelligent person. When I play him, I really try to let my options flow, and I try to outsmart him. It usually doesn't happen. I usually end up like having to maul him or something, but I try it anyways because it's good practice. It's really good. It lets me expand as a player. And then Clock. I've played Clock a lot, and he's just so solid. I feel like I have a lot to learn from all of them, and I look forward to playing them all.
And last question for me, for you, Angelic. Are you guys working on a shirt design together?
What?
Are you guys working on a T-shirt design together?
Not that I know of. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what the plan is right now, but I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Kugi that.
Everybody.
I hope so.
Everybody on Twitter, send a tweet to @BrokenTier and let Kugi know you want to see that Shuba shirt.
Send him a tweet. I tell him all the time, like, yo, this is a brilliant idea. You're gonna make millions. And he's like, nah, it's a dumb idea.
He's a hater, dude.
Yo, he is a hater. He's
a huge hater.
Right. It's okay. One day he'll open his eyes to the potential money he's not making. With all the Shuma shirts.
I will say this about Kugi. When it comes to design, he's a perfectionist. Like I remember tuning in one afternoon. It was like 2 or 3 in the afternoon on Monday, and I was off work for some reason, and he's streaming just himself in Photoshop doing design work. And like I sat there and watched him because I may or may not have been day drunk. I sat and watched him. For 3 hours.
And being off work may or may not have been unemployment.
I sat and watched him for 3 hours just changing the color palette and color swapping on the tiger shirt to come up with new color combinations. And like it would go from hunter green to olive green to forest, like very subtle shifts. And he would be like, hunter green, he'd be like, this is great. And then olive green, he'd be like, this is shit. And it's just like, it's the same shirt. And so he's a perfectionist, but make sure everybody at home, send a tweet @BrokenTier. Let Paul know you want to see that Shuma shirt. I think Paul could come up with some godlike Shuma shirt ideas.
Oh yeah, I think he could.
So Armando, where are we going to see you next?
Well, tonight I think we're gonna head to the run back.
Oh wow, really?
hang out. Yeah, we're currently in California. We're gonna hang out there. I think just hang out with some friends. But the next major I think will be the Fall Classic. That's where I will
Oh,
make
wow.
my major debut. I
Damn, you're
guess.
going right into it, huh?
Oh yeah,
That's
I've already been
nice.
Damn, I'm
practicing.
hyped now. Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
sick.
practicing as hard as I can already.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how you do this season, man. I'm a fan, so that's good. I'm always glad to see new players come up and kind of shatter the dreams of a lot of these old top player guys. So
Absolutely. I
Shatter
love
the dreams, man. That sounds like a really.
they get too no, trust me, Armando. They get too comfortable and they get too clicky. Don't ever let them grab you. Always be you. And you're in a good group with a good guy, so I know you won't. But
Yeah, if Champ
you know.
ever invites you to FGTV house, just say no.
Oh, shut! That's not what I'm just saying, they're
Yeah. No, I got you.
interesting there, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure I want to bear such a title as Dream Shatterer, but
Well, we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. Hopefully,
We'll
it
call
just
you
comes
Gate
with territory.
Crasher.
Gate Crash.
Things
Okay.
happen. Don't get discouraged if like your first tournaments and majors after all this pressure, like I'm sponsored and you end up getting bodied like a couple. Don't even. You just keep doing it. You'll get it.
I'll
Oh,
tell you
no.
this will happen. You're going to get bodied, and someone's going to go on Twitter and say, yo, they should have sponsored me for Broken Tier. That will happen.
Oh man,
It's gonna happen.
I'm already bracing myself.
Don't let that get under your skin.
Oh,
No,
for sure.
I'm gonna play and practice as much as possible to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't want regrets like that.
Tonight.
All right, man. Well, that's going to be it for this week. I want to thank, first of all, I want to send a huge thank you out to Kugi from Broken Tier for coming on the program and announcing tonight the newest addition to Broken Tier. Of course, you can shop all the Broken Tier apparel at brokentier.com. You can follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/brokentier. He does stream on Twitch from time to time. He streams Guilty Gear, so you can follow them on Twitch. And I don't even remember the Twitch channel. It's like twitch.com or twitch.tv/something. Broken Tier is not actually the Broken Tier channel, so I don't. Somebody help me here. I'm drowning.
I have no idea what you're talking. I
I
just
don't
spaced out.
Anyway,
I can find it to you really quick.
And so, nobody cares.
I have it as oh shit, it doesn't.
Yo, hold on, let me just ask. you.
Yeah, it's Broken Tier. That's the YouTube.
What's your Twitch channel, Cookie? What's your Twitch channel? What is it? Yeah, your Twitch channel.
Who gives a shit about Twitch? Just go to his YouTube and Broken
Okay.
Tier.
Yeah, just go to the YouTube. Yeah, Megan's right.
What the hell are you
Broken
doing
Tier
in Twitch?
TV.
Who
There
cares
we go.
about Twitch?
Broken Tier TV.
It's all about YouTube.
/Broken Tier TV.
Boom,
And
there we go.
YouTube.com/Broken Tier. Also, thank you to Angelic for coming on to the program and telling us his thoughts about
Thanks for having me,
something
guys.
For sure. You can follow Angelic at twitter.com/azangelic and get updates on his journey with Broken Tier. You guys heard it here tonight. He's going to be moving on to the Fall Classic, which is coming up in a couple of weekends. We had Sweet Johnny Cage on last week on the program talking about the Fall Classic. You guys make sure you check it out. It's going to be streamed by Spooky. Of course, Big E and Larry and all those guys are going to be involved. It's going to be huge. It's going to be they always say East Coast Evo about Final Round. This is literally going to be the East Coast Evo. So make sure you guys check out Fall Classic with players like Angelic. And then finally, shout outs to my co-host, Magus1234, who you can follow on Twitter at twitter.com/Magus1234. I also want to send a quick thank you to Hell Pockets, who you heard earlier in the program.
The schmuck.
Nah. I'll cut this shit off right now.
Speaking of up and coming sponsors, shout outs to Hell Pockets sponsor Arcade Shock. Arcade Shock works hand in hand with I Play Winner quite a bit. Those guys are super godlike. You can check them out online at arcadeshock.com. They sponsor a lot of great players like Hell Pockets. Who you can follow. Oh, no, I like how he's the one who laughed.
Yeah, I didn't even have to laugh. That was great.
But
You're too
thank
kind.
you for Hell Pockets for filling in tonight. Chris Seglia, our normal producer, had to work late, and Hell Pockets stepped in at the last second and did the show for us tonight, so thank you to him. And my name is Derry. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/DerryH. As always, you can check out the archive at youtube.com/iplaywinner and twitch.tv/iplaywinner. And make sure you subscribe to both channels. That's going to be it. We're going to be back next Thursday. Until then, I'll throw it off to Magus1234.
Yo, bro!